1 year ago, we moved to Los Angeles, California. It is honestly one of the most magical, beautiful places in the entire planet. But we've had some of the most amazing experiences in the last year. It was equally one of the most difficult years. This is a story about us moving across the country and departing from the military. It wasn't easy, but it's our story. We're moving, guys, and it's like officially done. The house is all packed. It is empty. Look at this. I'll give you guys the grand tour. This was our kitchen. We had a little nice music room in there. Our empty living room. And this was my film room. This is where I filmed my YouTube videos. I used to have my little futon couch right there. Now I've sold it. I think I'm gonna cry. I don't know, I'm really, really excited to go to Los Angeles. I mean, that's what I've always wanted to do forever. Like, that's been my dream since I was like a little girl, and now it's really happening. But man, it was hard adjusting to being a military spouse. I don't know, it's a hard lifestyle. And this whole month, this whole transition process has been just insane. Hopefully I'll be able to give you some advice now that I've gone through it myself. But I don't know. There's just like a feeling of like comfort being here, and now it's a new adventure. It's bittersweet. I feel scared. I think one of the biggest things is like, I don't know, we've called this place home for the last 4 years. I grew up a lot here. This is the place where me and Christian first got to have our first house together, live together. It's so weird I won't be able to like drive down the street and go to my favorite places. But I remember going through this when I first became a military spouse and I had to move from home. You know, we move around a lot as military spouses, and it never gets easier. It's always some type of like sentimental thing. I don't know, we're leaving behind a piece of ourselves for every place that we go to. That might sound really cheesy and maybe stupid, but whatever. This is just kind of raw, real life. And this is what I'm feeling right now, boogers and all. And yeah, so whew, here we go. All of our junk. Insane. Dude, literally insane. Whew. Oh my god, I'm literally crying. But I'm like so happy though. It's such a weird feeling to explain. It's hard to watch some of this footage because I hope to finish this video and have some sort of grand revelation or achievement we had reached by now.
Here we go.
But the truth is, no matter how hard we want to rush into things, sometimes we just aren't prepared for what's to come. And sometimes we're meant to learn from that. All in all, we saw a lot of really cool things during this move, and our first stop was Nashville, Tennessee. I got to see one of my very best friends. She showed me a night on the town, and I even got to meet her husband. We zoomed around, had way too many drinks, and even visited a tobacco factory in downtown Nashville. Good morning, party people. Today is Monday. What day? June 24th, I think?
Yeah.
Yep, June 24th. Nailed it. And we are getting ready to leave Brittany's house. We were in Nashville over the last couple days. I did not film too much while we were in Nashville just because I really wanted to just live in the moment, enjoy my time, and it was so much fun. It was really relaxing to be able to hang out with my best friend. I got to see her husband for the first time. They got to hang out. Next up, we are headed to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. We're gonna stay there for a night with my friend Maxine. So here we go. From there, we continued on to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. We stayed with another military spouse I had met through work. She had one of the cutest dogs I've seen in my whole entire life. I wanted to take it home with me. We only stayed in Oklahoma for one night. We were quick in and out and on to our next destination. We made a quick stop in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I had to go see the Breaking Bad house because I used to love Breaking Bad. I'm like a die-hard fan, and I told you guys I really wanted to go. So we're outside the Breaking Bad house. We're gonna go take a photo. They have like a sign that says, just take a photo across the street. Don't disturb them, respect them, of course, all that good jazz. So we're gonna go take a photo really quick. Woo! Okay, so we have the house.
What's that?
Right here. Is she talking to you? So it turns out the owner of the Breaking Bad house is kind of a jerk. So even though there's a sign that says you can take photos outside, she's not friendly. So this is the restaurant that they filmed in Breaking Bad, also known as Los Pollo Hermanos, I think is what it's called in the show. And what the real restaurant's called is Twisters, but I guess they said the inside looks exactly the same. Oh my gosh, look at the sign. All right, so we are sitting here in the exact spot where Walter White sat in Breaking Bad. They have a little mural over there. I'll walk up over there in a little bit. We got food. Christian over here. After a quick stop in Albuquerque, New Mexico, we headed off to Arizona to stay at our last place before we headed off to LA. Okay, we made it to Arizona, and I'm with one of my best friends, Autumn. We're so excited. I am literally so exhausted. We've been driving since 5:30 in the morning, and what time is it right now?
It is, I don't know.
But also the time zone difference.
12:06. So in North Carolina,
we came from Fort Sill though, so it's 2 a.m. But yeah, we're here and I'm so excited. I'll try to vlog a little bit more than I have been. I don't know what our plans are, but I'll update you guys. So yeah, okay. One of the most beautiful things of this trip was seeing all the people that meant so much to us while Christian was in the service. We didn't realize it yet at this point, but later in the year, we'd really grow to miss that community feeling the military gives you. Autumn was my very first friend that I made when I was a military spouse. And here we were transitioning from that life, and she was the last destination for us to visit before we began this new journey. I will say I've learned two things about Arizona. Arizona is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. And then number two, it is hotter than Satan's butthole. So if you ever come to Arizona, be prepped for that. Maybe don't go out during the daytime. We are going to make the trek to go and float one of their like rivers here. So I got my little bathing suit on. Christian's getting ready. Pray for me that I don't melt. But I think it'll be really fun. The next day, we arrived in Los Angeles, California. We made it. In my head, that was as far as we had planned. That meant I was gonna wake up tomorrow movie star, and Christian was going to be some hotshot software developer. How do you feel, babe?
Ready to get rid of this darn thing. I've been thinking about my options.
LA is a city of dreams, so things would just happen, right? Wrong. To catch you up to speed in our last year, Christian graduated his schooling and applied to hundreds of jobs a day. He would get callbacks, and then something weird started happening. They would ask him about his time in service in depth, and then would suddenly no longer be interested.
There's a crazy pattern that we began seeing time and time again. And turns out, it wasn't just us. I did some research and I found that in the civilian world, they don't have a very clear path for veterans to follow. And a lot of the experience they accrue while in the service is rarely honored once out of the service. I was also curious to know how many veterans were unemployed in the US, and I found back in 2014, 573,000 were unemployed. We began to panic. I was lucky to be working, but I didn't make enough to support the both of us. So, I took on a new role at my work. This role was a phenomenal opportunity for me. I got to learn so much and develop professionally more in a year than I have in my whole life. I started a small clothing and social media company with Christian in hopes to keep us afloat. All of this demanded a lot of my time and focus, and altogether I stopped doing anything that was for me. We are now 1 year, 2 months, and 2 days departed from the military, and Christian still has not been able to get a position. Christian ended up going back to school to get his cybersecurity degree and is still on a mission to find a company that's willing to believe in him. And even though it's been a year, I still have faith that we'll get there.
What do you think you miss most about being in the service?
Definitely my friends.
Yeah, I miss them a lot too.
I wanted to be transparent about this because myself and so many others I've met through being a military spouse genuinely believe it's so much easier on the other side. So here's what I've learned. Start planning now. If you know your service member gets out in a year, now is the time to go back to school. Both of you, get a new skill. Have your spouse start applying for jobs and have something lined up. Attend all the job fairs. Join Facebook groups that are supportive of veterans. There are tons of classes that both of you can go to that I had no idea about. I'll put a list of them in the bio below. We still may not be on the other end of this thing, but it takes time. And it's important to know in full transparency, it's not going to be a cakewalk. Now you may be sitting here wondering, well, why are you still in LA if it's been so hard? You quite possibly may have chosen the worst city to try to transition back to civilian life while living in. Why not just move out of that crazy city? I hear you, but it's not what I'm about. I grew up wanting to move to LA.
Cold fears throughout my veins that almost freezes up. The heat of life all coming back again to comfort me. Nurse!
I dreamed of becoming an actress, a creator, somebody who could change the world in some way. And I know I will. Yes, I haven't accomplished that dream a year after moving here. But that means just not yet.